Hey, what's going on, fam? I want to take this opportunity to welcome everybody to Straight Talk, No Chaser with Dr. JJG. I want to welcome my co-host this week, my lovely wife, Lady Ron, and we are excited for this evening. This is a couples quarantine edition, and we are excited because this evening our guests are none other than Dr. Ian and Lady Nicola Edwards. We are excited. Welcome, fam. How y'all doing tonight?
What's going on? We in the house.
Yeah, we in the house.
Awesome.
Been in the house.
Literally. We are all in the house. Trying to stay safe, trying to stick with these rules around social distancing. And so we're just glad that you all are with us tonight. We want to welcome everybody that's joining us via Facebook Live. If this is your first time on Straight Talk, No Chaser with Dr. JJG, I welcome you. I'm so excited about you joining us on this evening, this conversation with couples tonight in the midst of quarantine. I had to get Bay, I had to get my lovely wife, Sharon, to join me on this one. And I had to get some dear friends of ours, some experts on what it means to stay together. They'll be celebrating 20 years of marriage this coming August. 20 years of marriage this coming August. And so big ups to them on that. It does not look easy all the time. And so we just thank God for the two of you, and thank God for the ways in which God has been a part of your relationship and helped to keep you all strong. So for those of you that do not know this awesome and amazing power couple, you need to know that, as I said earlier, they're celebrating 20 years of marriage this coming August. They are the proud parents of three children. And so we are excited about not only their marriage, but excited about them being a family unit. So Sajada, Imani, Terrell are their kids. They are the founder and pastor of Winning Souls Evangelistic Church in Pasadena, Maryland, and the church at Bowie in Bowie, Maryland. So you need to know that Dr. Ian is also a senior logistics consultant for the government. And additionally, he is the founder of Dr. Ian Speaks. This brother is on fire doing some amazing things. So make sure you check him out. And he is blessed because alongside of him, not behind him, but alongside him, Lady Nicola is doing some amazing things as well. She shares in ministry with her husband, and she is a lead youth teacher, a trustee, and she's over the women's ministry at their church. She's a talented HR professional and the owner of the Queen's Grocer. And so a whole big business. Shout them out. She also holds an MBA in human resources. They love to travel, watch movies, eat out, and work out. They are fitness gurus, and we're just excited. We send lots of love to you guys on this evening, and excited. We want to send a special shout out to the Winning Souls Evangelistic Church family, the church at Bowie, and y'all go ahead and shout them out in your own special way.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you go first, baby. Ladies first. Ladies first. I'm gonna rock the mic first. Definitely good to be with you all, Lady Sean and Jay, and thank y'all for having us on the show. Certainly want to shout out the Winning Souls family, the church at Bowie family. Shout out to our kids, Sajada, Terrell, and Imani, and we're just excited to be on to talk couple stuff, marriage stuff. We are not the experts at all. We don't dot every I, cross every T, but at the end of the day, we just made a decision no matter what to stay together. So, you know, if couples want to know how you just stay together, we can help you with that, with all the little turns and twists that go along with it.
Definitely. That's so important. And so big ups to you guys for all that you are doing, not only in your professional lives, but in your personal lives, because it takes staying rooted and grounded in God first and foremost. It takes a partnership with you and yours. And then it also takes teamwork, raising children in these days and times, and then trying to keep your sanity through all of it. So we know that we've been quarantined, we've been in the house, and we're going to talk about some of that in a little bit. But just as a way to kind of break the ice for our audience out there, we're going to play a little game. It's entitled Hubby or Wifey, Hubby or Wifey. And so y'all got your placards, your hubby and wifey placards, y'all ready?
I'm just going to keep this one in my hand.
All right. We're going to see how this thing is shaping up. So for our audience, the game is called Hubby or Wifey. Our guests, Dr. Ian and Lady Nick, they're going to hold up a hubby card or a wifey card or a both card to essentially illustrate who's at fault. We won't even say who's at fault, but who's the culprit. Maybe that's still saying it, but who's the one that's been in that particular area during quarantine. All right, so here we go.
All right, let's do it.
All right, let's see. So in the midst of this quarantine, who has been the most stir crazy?
Hey, we ain't really been stirred.
Yeah, we've not. I thought I would be, but I'm not.
Yeah, I don't think neither one of us have. That's probably interesting.
Yeah. I should be, because I'm always like to be out and about, but I've actually enjoyed it.
Okay, so who's been the one to go to the store first? Maybe the other was a little hesitant, like, I'm not sure.
I find ways to go to the shop. Look, we need milk. I'm going.
Yeah.
We need some bacon.
Okay, so that might can help that out.
I get one item at a time.
Yep, she coming back with that one item.
One item, two item, three.
Yeah. Just to get out the house. Yeah.
That's it. That's it. In the right way, mask on. All of that. Social distancing.
Right.
All right. Let's see. Who's done more sleeping?
I guess.
She been getting it in.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
She got the spirit of El.
You gotta get that beauty rest. Gotta keep it up.
She got the spirit of El Shaddai.
Yeah,
it's not
El Shaddai, but El Shaddai.
Shaddai.
All right. What about who's done the most snacking?
Dun, 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 dun.
I got them all around me.
Dude, there's some snacks right there. Last night's snacks is chilling over here.
Yeah.
Wow.
They're everywhere.
I
wake up with crumbs stuck to my back, like they're in the bed.
It's bad.
Snacks.
It's
Look,
bad.
Lady Nick, I would be in trouble. Wife checks the bed. Ron says, "You been eating in this bed?"
Like a little 3-bed.
I need to do bed checks like prison.
All right. Let's see. Who's done more online shopping?
I don't know. I've been getting it in too. I don't know.
Well, yeah, you know what? I've done a lot, but he's been getting a lot of t-shirts.
I have.
Okay. Gotta stay.
And we've been getting stuff for each other. Huh?
Yeah. On behalf of the United States Post Office, we say thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah.
Between that and Amazon helping keep lining Jeff Bezos' pockets, I looked at my Amazon feed. I done had quite a bit in the past few weeks.
Wow.
Yeah. We've got 2 packages downstairs right now.
Yeah, we've been getting it in.
All right. Who's been on social media the most?
They're gonna feed it. It might be me.
Yeah, it's her.
It might be me.
Yeah.
Lady Nick,
I feel conviction. Do I win a prize for this?
We got you. All right. Who's done the most work? If you had to work from home, who's done the most work?
Like housework or like work?
I don't know.
I guess it could be a combination, because housework can be a lot. We did some gardening the other day, and we don't do gardening.
I've been doing a lot of cooking, so.
Yeah, no, I say both. I mean, I'm working my day job, church work, different. She's doing her stuff too. So it's both of us. Like we work all the way up until it's time to, break and eat and stuff like that.
True.
There you go. Always on the grind. Stay on the grind. Work hard, you play hard. All right. Let's get 2 more in there. Who's done the most binge watching on TV, whether it's TV, whether it's Netflix, Hulu?
Yeah, it probably is.
We've been doing it
at random times.
I'm not even a binge watcher, but we've been getting it in.
Yeah, we've watched more.
What y'all been watching?
Ozark.
We watch Ozark. Yeah!
Telling you.
Look, Ozark was it.
Look.
Man, if you ain't watched that, you all better watch it.
Look, sometimes the saints get a little too deep. I was a little hesitant at first when we started posting about it, but then I saw some real sanctified folks talk about they was watching Ozarks. I said, all right, hey.
Man.
Dude, I love The Wire, The Sopranos, so whatever, TV's TV, so.
TV's, exactly, TV's TV. TV is TV.
Yeah.
All right, let's get one more in there before we get down to the business at hand. Who's been the most innovative, the most creative during this time?
Even though she's gone.
Me.
Yeah, she's gone harder with hers. Yeah. She has. You know what? The meals, themes, even the paint night we did and other stuff. Yeah, most deaf. This one here.
I saw that.
Family.
It looked like so much
family
fun.
in person. Yep.
It was fun.
It was fun, bro.
Y'all had somebody do somebody was the instructor for the fourth view. I saw you and the girls on.
No, we found it. We found a picture online that we all agreed on, and then we just kind of went our own way and did our own interpretation of the picture.
Y'all had some great artwork. It was really nice.
Look, it was an easy one. It was just a flower. So he was like, "There's no people, no animals. Just make it simple."
Yeah.
All right. Yep. So, Lady Nick, it looks like you won this one. We gonna.
Oh, we know. I don't know how I feel about that, but I feel kind of good.
Winner.
Shout out to the wifeys.
To the wifeys. All right, so let's get down to it. So let's get down to this conversation in the midst of quarantine. So tell us, how long have you guys been together as a couple? How long have you been married? How'd you meet? How did you know it was love and you were in this thing forever?
She has a good rendition.
So we met in February of 2000. And from the day that we met, I think like 2 weeks later, I think we both knew something was like a serious connection. And we both were afraid because it's too soon, how can you be in love with someone after 2 weeks? And we only saw each other on the weekends. So, we decided to take it slow, which I don't know if we really did. We said we were, but we didn't. So then 6 months later, after seeing each other on the weekends for 6 months, we got married. Ian said to me, "You want to get married on Monday?" I said, "Okay." We got married that Monday. Yeah, it wasn't real romantic.
We didn't have no real proposal or nothing.
No, but we both knew, I never was, trust me, I didn't want to get married till I was like 60. I was like, I'm not getting married. That's not for me. I'll wait till I get old. I don't want to deal with all the drama.
And I didn't want to live with her. I figure, we love each other. We'll just make it work. I didn't want to live with her or nothing like that. It was just like, let's just get married and figure it out later. So.
Yeah. And it was a blind date for me because he saw my picture, but I didn't even know what he looked like. So I was scared. Wow. I was looking through the peephole like, what's this one going to be like? I even had my friend on the phone, if I tell you see you later, it means I like him. If I say talk to you tomorrow, it means I don't. But then I forgot what the whole plan was. So when I opened the door, she's like, "What do you think?" I was like, "I'll talk to you later." She's like, "What does that mean?"
I had a stuttering Jason. She was just like, up. I was standing at the door like,
he was grinning.
Okay. I was grinning.
Smelling good.
You gave her all that all dark and handsome, and she just
I did, man.
He did. God.
I came Air Force strong. I was like, I'm ready to.
He brought it. He did.
That's right. Yeah. When ladies say, "Well, I love a man in uniform."
Yeah, but we had a connection from the beginning. It's like we knew each other forever.
Yep, and we made that decision with we didn't have any marital counseling. My wife wasn't saved yet. We knew that when she came up to Jersey, to where I was stationed, that she wouldn't have a job right away. But in the midst of, and we both had a kid already. But in those conditions, we still made a decision, was like, we're going to get married. So, I mean, to some couples, we wouldn't advise that, but think about what we said. Only one person was saved. We had no marital counseling. We knew we was going to have one income for a minute, and we both had a child. We were going to have to deal with that. But we made a decision that we wanted to get married. And, you know, here we are, already been together, you know, 20 years. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow. And so I think also some of what I'm hearing in that is, you know, sometimes really listening, discernment, you know, and really hearing that still small voice. I know you say that, you know, you both weren't at the same place spiritually, but I think it really also takes that kind of sort of listening to that inner voice. And I like to call it the promptings of the Holy Spirit really speaking to us and letting us know, hey, you know, I want you to go in this direction. I want you to step out. I want you to really make this work. And so it seems like you both did that. And here you are 20 years later, and I'm sure you learned some things along the way that definitely, you know, have given you insight into what the future can be like and what it holds for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the thing is, you know, if I could advise couples, you know, I always say, you know, we married just simply because of love. Like, I didn't marry my wife because, I'm gonna marry her, so, you know, so my kid can have a mama, and so she can cook my meals and she can iron my clothes. Like, we just married because of love. And I think if you marry someone out of need, if the person can't meet that need, then you got a problem with the person that you married. So I know for me, and my wife can speak differently, I married based on what I knew I wanted to do and be for my wife. I was raised very domesticated. I was already a good dad to my daughter. She had a son. So I already knew that I could bring income. I even told her, I said, I don't care if you don't get a job. They're gonna give us a house on base. So I knew I could provide a house. You know, I could be a dad to her son. So I married her because I loved her and I knew what I could give and bring to the relationship. And I married her because she loved me unconditionally. So I never really thought about, well, could she do this or could she do that? As long as she could love me, I was good. That's all I cared about. As long as she could love me unconditionally, because that's what I got from my mom, who had just passed right before I met her. I was good.
Wow. Yeah. Wow.
And I'm still that way, you know, for the most part. As long as she can just love me, she knows, like, I don't really have too many no's. I'm more like, okay, you know, I'll do whatever. I don't care.
We were having a conversation upstairs earlier. And Sharon said to me, she said, do you just say yes to whatever I say? I said, pretty much. I mean, unless it's something just crazy, but, you know, if you think that it looks good, I'm with you. I'm going to support you. And, you know, because I know what God has called me to be as a husband, and you are fulfilling the needs that I have as a wife. So everything else, I'm just going to do my part. And I'm trusting as long as you loving me, we good.
Mm-hmm.
We good.
Yep.
All right. So has there ever been a time in your relationship prior to this global pandemic where you have had this much uninterrupted time together? I mean, uninterrupted time together.
No, not in 20 years.
And you know what's crazy? We're about to celebrate 20 years. Probably 17 out of the 20, we've actually spent more apart than we have together. Mm-hmm. So, you know, while people look at our relationship and we're always smiling together, we had to be so intentional about that, because the way our schedules were, I mean, there was a time when we were in New Jersey, my wife was working in New York. So she was out the house before I even got the kids up. And if a train broke in New York, sometimes she wouldn't come home till like 10, 11 at night. So there were years where we didn't have evenings where we were sitting at the table together and stuff like that. And even our transition here. So until the last couple of years when I worked closer to home and she did, and everybody saw us going to the gym together and stuff, that was new for us. And so really us spending this time together hasn't been, you know, crazy or anything. It's probably more what we missed over the last, 17, 18 years.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow. And that's so interesting, I think, because for us, we're at a fourth of where you guys are. We're 5 years in this year. And interestingly enough, well, I guess for the past, just about all these 5 years, we've been ships passing in the night, by Ron working at night, and me in the day. And so when she gets in the mornings, it's like, you know, and I'm up. And so then at night, you know, but I'm like, hey, you know, let's have some bay time. And she's like on her way out the door. So quarantine, being at home when this first started, you know, we had to really get, you know, used to this rhythm again of being home together 24/7. I mean, it has been amazing. You know, definitely could say that we have loved every minute of it. Every minute of it.
Yeah.
Every minute of it, or close to every minute of it, and stuff. But it took a while to get used to that rhythm. It took a while to get used to that rhythm. So for folks that are out there, you know, right now, you know, that's one of the reasons why I really wanted to have this conversation with y'all, and we're gonna get into some deeper stuff in a second. But you know, you really see some things in your partner with this uninterrupted time, and you learn some things about your relationship.
Yep. I would say that during the time that we've had together, I guess if the question be asked, like, what have you learned? Have you seen anything different? I don't know if it's so much for me, and she can speak differently, if I've learned anything new, but like, for instance, like all the meals that my wife is cooking and stuff like that, and we laugh and talk about it. She's like, why am I enjoying this? Why do I love it? So I can look at that and say, well, you know, I'm learning that my wife really loves to cook, or she really loves this. I don't know so much about if it is a love doing it as it is my wife's always been detailed in wanting to do different things. And I think what she really did was, since we're going to be home, she just carried that into, hey, you know, he's doing this and he's doing that, so I'm going to cook the meals and I'm going to do it. So for me, it wasn't me learning more about her. It was just seeing who she already is applied to other areas and just willing to do it because there's not the stress of maybe other outside, you know, influences and stuff.
Right. I mean, that's a great segue, you know, to where we were going next.
Okay, so as we talked about as you guys heard about the Red Table Talk with Jada Pinkett Smith, so in the recent episode, she shares that she's discovered during the quarantine that how she does not know Will. So now they've been married for 23 years. But she says, I feel like there's a layer that you get to. Life gets too busy. You create these stories in your head, and then you hold on to these stories. And that is your idea of your partner. That's now who your partner is. So we're going to take a look at the clip, and then we're going to ask some questions.
Okay. All right. Let's run the clip. Technology so great.
Yeah, and everyone's on the internet now, so that's why everything's slow.
I'm gonna pray over it.
Oh yeah. But I'm just, even with the fact of just how amazing it is, like think about 5 years ago, we couldn't even do some of this stuff. And now, you know, we can pretty much pull up information from all over the world and try to spin it. We may get it, we may not get it. I see a little blue there. Well, babe, I'll let you go ahead on with your question. It may pop up, it may not.
Okay, so Ian and Nicola, have you found? Sorry, 1 second. Looks like it froze a little bit.
Y'all still with us?
We still here.
We're with you.
All right, there we go.
Where we gonna go?
Screen froze a little bit.
Where we going, man?
I got a couple of jokes if you want to fill the time.
All right. Have you found that you've learned some things about each other that you didn't know up to this point?
I think, like Ian was saying, I think during this time I've learned more about myself, actually. Like Ian, how I perceived Ian, even if we have not been with it, we don't really see each other that much in the past. The image that I had of him is truly who he is. So I think during this time that I've been around him, I have seen things in me that I did not know existed. I mean, especially the cooking. I mean, I did not like to cook at all. So for me to actually, I mean, I think it started off, like he said, as a way of, being helpful while I know he's still working and doing ministry. But I really enjoy it. I mean, I'm like making Gordon Ramsay scrambled eggs and stuff. I'm chopping up chives. And I'm like, what? Yeah, it's mad. It's mad. But I love it. I mean, like, I love it so much that I want to buy some like fancy pots. Like I want to like really do it do it for real.
I think like she said, which is key, is that she's learned more about herself and who probably she really aspires to be and develop in me the same thing. Like when you sit in this, and I think that makes us better for one another, because we're like, it's almost like, well, I've seen that before and I knew you were that way, but all right, let me help you develop that. And then it goes back to me, like if I say, I'm thinking about this, well, Ian, that's what you do, blah, blah, blah. So I think it really is us discovering ourselves more, because the person everyone sees out of it, that's true us and stuff, but who everybody sees isn't all of us. And sometimes when you're givers like us, you give of yourself, your time, your energy, your ministry, you get so used to like sustaining that and maintaining that, like you forget about the rest of you that you really want to be. So I think for us, we're just like, like this is who we are. And if I can say it this way, this is who we want to be when we grow up, and that's good. So now we're finding ways to support one another in that, and it's good. But she's the same person all the time. Like there's no surprise. I mean, she's getting finer every day. I mean, hey.
You got my thing.
Oh, she coming in a Honda
and leaving in a Lexus.
I like that one. Yeah.
Oh dear.
I definitely would have to agree. I this past month, yes, April, we celebrated 3 birthdays, and I went out and brought cake pans. I wanted to bake cakes. And so I'm just really sitting at home, like baking cakes that you would buy at a bakery. And so it's like, I guess with being home, you find more layers because you have more time, to develop a skill. So yeah, I think it's amazing.
I don't know where the more time is, because it seemed like baby's always on the go. She's moving from one project to the next project. She's doing it in a spirit of excellence, and I'm looking around and people are seeing the fruits of her labor, and they're like, wow, why haven't you been doing this as your 9 to 5
instead of my 10 to 6:30.
But not even just that. I think you learn some things about yourself and some skill sets and some things that may have to take a back seat to life. Those things are able to shine through in times like these, and you begin to say, okay, wait a minute, I'm giving time and energy over here, but I really got a passion for this over here. But life does get busy.
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna do one more question pertaining to the Jada Pinkett quarantine with Will, shall I say. One of the key things stated in the particular interview was life gets busy. What part does time play into ensure that you aren't giving somebody years and then get to the point one day where you don't know who you are with?
You go.
Go ahead. You don't want to bless us?
Go
on. I think the word for us over the years, because I told you we spend a lot of time apart, like just time that we would have in the evenings and stuff like other couples. But I think for us, it was being intentional about the time that we spend together, so much so, and I was laughing about this earlier, our thing has always been, we'll rest when we get to heaven. So while people will say like, y'all are always doing this and doing that and doing whatever, everybody has the same 24 hours in the day. They do. So even if we worked all day and, all right, I got work and church meetings, she got stuff that she needs to do, one of the first things she's gonna say is, you wanna watch a movie? Now it could be 10:30 at night. Guess what? We're gonna watch that movie together. If we fall asleep, we fell asleep in each other's arms. You know, if we don't get enough sleep and both wake up and say, hey man, you wanna hit that gym? We're just gonna do it. We're just intentional about saying, we're gonna redeem the time we do have instead of about complaining about the time that we don't have.
Yeah, I mean, I hear you saying that. You know, for us, you know, I'm grateful to have my other half on the weekends. You know, that's kind of, so the work week is that typical Monday through Friday, and I get her back, thanks be to God, I get her back on Saturday mornings. And so Saturday is our first real night together. We try to kind of join in with what everybody else is doing, but Sunday is essentially, that's the day I'm on, and I laugh because there have been so many times that we've gotten caught up on Saturday night, not even caught up out and about on Saturday night, but just caught up right here in the house together, caught up spending QT, quality time with one another. We're looking at, you know, and then she'll finally say, babe, we gotta go to bed. She says, she'll say, we gotta get up in the morning, which is really code word for you gotta get up in the morning. I'm gonna be up, but you definitely gotta get up in the morning. It's like the 4 o'clock in the morning, the sun is coming up sometimes, so we're like, oh Lord.
Man, you guys can hang. I can't even hang like that.
we gotta go serve the Lord, and then after church, the after church nap is,
woo! That's the best. That's the best.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it does. It definitely does.
Yeah.
So we talk about the importance of time. What do you guys normally like to do in your quality time together, and how has the pandemic impacted that, if at all, for you?
Well, what we used to like to do is we used to go out to eat pretty much every night of the week. We would not cook at all. Like, but I married him. One of the reasons I married him, but he was a great cook. Like, he cooked all the time, and I didn't cook. So as we got older and our kids got older, we didn't need to cook anymore. So we were going out to eat, different restaurants. I mean, pretty much every night of the week. So now, now I'm cooking and I'm having themed meals. So that's how we took it. And you know what? I don't even think, even after this pandemic, I'm not even going to go back to the restaurants. Like, we've got it good here. And nothing we like to do.
Saving some money.
Yeah, we're saving a lot of money, and I don't miss it. Yeah. And then also we like comedy. We love to go to comedy shows. So we try to watch, comedy on Netflix, and he's found some stand-ups. Yeah, so we like to, what else do you like to do?
We like the gym.
We do like the gym.
That was actually a date.
So now we try to walk together, but it's like.
Nick, we're on.
I tried to get him to walk, bless him, but he's coming around. He's come out with me twice, I think.
So I'm gonna plug them. I'm gonna shout them out and stuff. And I know y'all are exercise gurus. I found this thing online. We haven't started it yet. We're gonna get there soon. It is a Black-owned business, a couple. It's called Strength of Seduction, and so they've been pushing their business really big during this time, because you don't necessarily need the gym or the workout equipment to do it. They've got some amazing videos, and essentially you use your partner for resistance and strength training. So it's called Strength of Seduction. Y'all check them out on Instagram, check them out Facebook. I just got a text from the owner earlier today to ask how I was enjoying it. I said, we ain't quite there yet, but we're gonna get on. We've been enjoying the taste. I've been taste testing a lot. She's been cooking and I've been taste testing, but I'm gonna work some of this off. We're gonna work it off together soon.
Yeah, we got to.
Yeah, we still try to, I got bands. We try to do what we can, but our routine was like work out with the weights together. We'll be working out today, and then the second half of our day, like just go eat. But we haven't. We're still filling in the gaps pretty good. And at the end of the day, outside of love, we really like each other, so we just hang out. Man.
Yeah, that's most important. That's most important.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to do another. So you are both very busy folks. You have your regular 9-to-5s, and you have your 24/7 where you're pastoring and leading not one but two congregations, winning souls in Pasadena and the church at Bowie and Bowie. How do you find balance so that you are still able to give your best to this calling? Get what you need from each. You're also parents of 3 beautiful children. So how do you balance that?
And I'll let my wife chime in or nod or shake her head if I'm off on this. So one of the things is big with me is balance, but it's not, if this statement makes sense, it's not balanced by the book, it's balanced by the look. So it's not, I can't write it and say these are the measurements, but it's, it's by the look, like what am I perceiving is off balance, or what is being said, even something as simple as, we ain't watched the movie in years. Now I could have, and I'm just over exaggerating. That might have just been like 2 nights, but what's really being said is, or you had a couple meetings with church folk, you did this, you talked to that person, but we ain't watched the movie. And not watching the movie isn't the end of the world, but it's part of us spending time. So for me, it's always been about balance. And the people I pastor know this. I'm not, Jesus died for the world. So I don't have to die for the world. And I'm not going to let the saints, wear me out. Not that they are aware, but I think it's up to us to put barriers in place. So, I'll pick and choose, when I want to respond to emails and this and that. I'll not have a meeting or cancel a meeting or forego a meeting. People that around me will tell you they've never heard my phone ring or vibrate. You know why? Because I'll talk to you when I'm ready to talk to you, because nobody needs me more than my family. Yeah. If I'm pastoring you and you need me more than my family, then something's wrong. Nobody needs me more than them. There are other resources that people go to, and I try to train people that way. So for me, again, it's not balanced by the book, but it's by the look. So how am I perceiving things to be off, and what is being said in my household to make me determine like, oh, I better make sure I show up at a game for Monty, or I got to make sure I do that. And I'd have to say, since we've been married, I've been pretty good with that. Like I'll do stuff late at night or early in the morning just to make sure I don't interfere with family time.
Yeah, that's good right there. I like that, balance by the look.
I like that too. That's my first time hearing
I like that. Y'all can hashtag that. Everybody's on that list. Y'all can hashtag that.
Definitely.
I like.
Definitely. I mean, that's important to me. And I think some of what I heard you saying is, finding a rhythm. It may mean, late nights, and sometimes, I can go on a stretch and get a late night in, and I'm just like, okay, I got some work. Now the next day I may be dog tired, but I know that that's going to free me up a little bit for some things that I want to do with my wife, some things that I want to do with my kids. Not all the way there yet. Don't hear me saying that I'm all the way there yet. And I think it takes time, and you begin to find that rhythm, by being intentional. I heard you all say.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I think the truest well done's, one is going to come from God, and it's going to come from, your family, your wife, everyone out there that you serve or that you're an employee of. No matter what you do, how good or how not, it's, you may get this, you may get that, you get what you did do, or you get what you didn't do. So because I understand that, I'm like, I'd rather set myself up to where, one, I get a well done from God and a well done from my wife. And it doesn't mean I have to kill myself to do it. Perfect example, yesterday, y'all saw the pictures of the paint night. That was great. But I had 2 church meetings before that. Then I had a huddle before Bible study. Then I taught Bible study. And then after that, it was like, all right, let's eat and do paint night. But then I started getting some texts from the members, but I made a decision like, I don't want to text anymore. Like that's the end of it. You can catch me tomorrow without me saying, I'm gonna text you tomorrow. You just know when you don't hear from me, catch me tomorrow. So, just set yourself up in such a way to say, if I'm gonna kill myself, it's gonna be for my family and for the Lord, but in balance.
Right. I think, and I hear that it reminds me of something. I remember hearing it in college, the church that I was attending then, and the pastor there, I remember, very clearly, Bishop Brian Green, he said one Sunday morning, he said, when I die, I don't ever want to hear my daughters or my wife say, he was an amazing pastor. Because my first responsibility to them is not to be their pastor. It's to be their dad. It's to be their husband. And so every once in a while, when I'm getting in the thick of things, when I'm feeling like you said, Ian, Bible study, a meeting, work with respect to the church, work with respect to ministry or some other area that you're a part of out in the community, I have to hear the check. And if I see a kid standing beside me, and, sometimes, we're human. I have to catch myself. I'm like, hey, don't you see I'm doing this? But it's like, oh, wait a minute. Yeah, they've seen me doing this for the past 4 or 5 hours. And now they just need 5 minutes. And so I can stop, or not even just stop. I can put it to rest for the day, because those moments are precious. You don't get them back. Right. They're fleeting. Okay. So the truth of the matter is, no marriage or relationship is perfect. The stress of it all will, from time to time, cause heated fellowship, as I like to call it. But at least we've had our daily routines to take us away from each other and allow us, as the saying goes, for absence to make the heart grow fonder. But we've been sharing space. And I know a lot of the couples out there, have been saying, yes, we've been sharing space. We've been in close proximity. We've been breathing the same air for almost 8 weeks now. I'm just being real. And so the question I would have for both of you is, how do you keep the peace in your relationship? Not just in the midst of a quarantine, but I think especially right now, how do you keep the peace in your relationship so that when outside reopens up, folks aren't running to the courthouse or to apartment.com because they just can't take it anymore? So how do you keep the peace in your relationship? You're going to have some heated fellowship, but how do you get back to a place of peace?
Yeah, I think we've learned, we've had our, I don't even know if we can't even call it heated fellowship. It was a straight, it wasn't a brawl, but it was some pretty bad times. But I think we've learned each time we've been in those spaces that communication is kind of like a word that's like used very lightly, but I think it's true. Like, really be able to communicate, but on the other end, being able to receive that feedback. So if I have a concern about something and I share it with him, for him to actually see my point of view, I think that's very helpful. Because if not, then it can cause, some issues. But I think that we've made sure that we try our best to communicate with each other. And what else would you say?
I think, even though we're here, 24/7 like everyone else, we aren't just like here trying to pull on each other and like get our needs met. Like, I'm on one side of the table, she's on the other side, and we got work we got to do. So outside of, hey, can you put the kettle on for me, or do you need some cream for your coffee? We're working. Like, we're working, and we're doing what we need to do, and we know what we're going to do in the evening. But the other thing is, we've had a routine for years that it's not something that we ever talked about. And I'm talking about even during hard times. We always greet each other, like hug and kiss morning, evening, like to tell each other we love each other. And, in good times, it may sound like I love you. In times that are a little stressful, it might just be like, love you too. But I say that, but I'm telling you, and you probably preach and teach this too when it talks about growing people's relationship in the Lord. Ritual is a beautiful thing. And so I think for us, good or bad times, nothing changes with how we treat each other in the house. And we've never been the type that, well, because I'm mad at you, I won't go to the grocery store, I won't do something. We've just never been that way. So we've always still done whatever for each other, I love you, hug and kiss. So now with us just being in the same space, we're just kicking our norm, except we get to look across and see each other working and try to assist each other. But we've been fine, and we wait till the evening when we can have our food and our movies and stuff like that. So, and again, I don't want anybody watching this to think like, oh, that's just because it just is what it is. We're all right. Like, it's good.
Yeah, I heard you say something about ritual. And I think that I gleaned something from that, you know, being consistent and sticking to whatever it is that is in your heart to do, even if all hell is breaking loose, you be consistent to who, number one, you are, be consistent to the reason that the two of you decided to come together in the first place. And I think that does help you to weather the storms of life, you know, because it's life is going to happen. I think the Allstate commercial with Dennis Haysbert said, life comes at you fast. It will come at you, and sometimes it don't have anything to do with you. It don't have anything to do with Bay. It just happens. But the two of you, because you share space so often, because you are together the most, sometimes we tend unfairly to take it out on one another. But I think the ritual will allow you to kind of sort of find your way back to that place of real love.
Yeah,
it is. We don't even do stuff like I mean, maybe every once in a blue moon and be, you know, one of us might have just slept out on the couch, but even that, we might have had something we were talking about and it wasn't that awful, but if we fell asleep on the couch, it was all right because I was a little mad. But we don't have planned like, I'm gonna be in this room and sleep here for like 3, 4, 5 days, or I'm not gonna talk to you for days in a row. We literally, for years, the whole time we've been married, even if we had an argument that night, it's still like, I love you, give you a kiss, and I'm gonna go to bed. So
that's good.
That alone, man, you'd be surprised how that alone and not separate them. I'm just gonna leave the house. Just at the end of the day, you could have that heated fellowship, but say, you know, I'm glad they still love me, or I'm glad we're still connected. Which says what? It says hope. Like no one wants to be in a relationship where they feel like things are being hopeless. So that little ritual provides some glimmer of hope to say, you know, I know he'll be back in a few hours and things will be okay because he hugged me and kissed me and told me he loved me on the way out being mad.
Yeah.
Wow, that's like a reassurance of what we've got.
So,
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, you don't want, like, if you have an argument or a heated fellowship, you don't want the person to leave and something happened and you did not at least say to them, I love you or goodbye. You know, even if you didn't feel it, you don't want to have that on your heart where, how do you tell him I loved him? And look how he's gone and he never came back. So I don't want that. So like you said, we always make sure we tell each other we love each other.
That's important. That's definitely important. So I know, and I'm just going to dig a little bit deeper, you know, here, you know, in some of the time that we have left before we get to questions from our audience. And I just want to share this, if you're in the audience, if you're however you're connected with us, we're going to field some questions. If you're on with us via Facebook Live, go ahead and drop your questions down in the comments. If you're connected with us via Zoom webinar, if you're on, go ahead and drop your questions. I think there's a spot down there for Q&A. We're going to take some of those in just a few minutes from you. But maybe this might set it up. Maybe you have a question that's around this area where you want to know a little bit more. And Dr. Ian and Lady Nick can share a little bit. Some couples are just trying to survive. They are just trying to survive right now. For some, finances were really already tanking. For some, health issues of one person, or in some cases, you know, maybe both was not in the best of shape. Maybe somebody, you know, was dealing with, you know, a life-threatening illness, or maybe even somebody has been diagnosed with COVID-19. Maybe somebody was dealing with addiction and may have been teetering, you know, on, you know, the brink of a relapse. There's been a heightened awareness also about domestic violence during this period, and a whole host of other things that can just send a couple and their family into a very, very dark place. So what would you say are some steps that can be taken to bring healing and wholeness to the forefront immediately, healing and wholeness to the forefront immediately. I mean, we're all in the house together. And I know, for some, they have had to say, wait a minute, I don't feel safe. And a number of those things are just swirling around in the atmosphere and have to be dealt with. But what are some things that can bring healing and wholeness to the forefront immediately, as well as improve the fabric of relationships for the future?
I mean, there's different situations. If someone is definitely in harm's way, that's a whole other situation. If they're being abused, definitely wouldn't recommend. They need to reach out to someone, because that's not a situation you want to stay in. But if you're in a situation where you're with your spouse and you're just right now, you're having a tough time, financially, health-wise, and that will definitely cause a huge strain on a marriage. I mean, absolutely. I would just encourage them to, get together, reevaluate the reason why you put together in the first place. So when you first got together, what was the reason? Think about those things that brought you together, why you love each other, focus on that and let each other know that you're in this together. You may have some financial situation right now, but you can work through this together. If they're Christians, hopefully they can pray together about the situation. But it's good to know if you have someone on your side. If you're dealing with it on your own, a lot of times in marriages, people, they have financial issues, and they may not discuss it. They may just act out because of the situation. But if they talk about it and let each other know, look, we're together in this, let's get a plan together. At least they can, it's like they're working together.
Yeah. Notice, what, reevaluate, talk about it. Communication. And I always tell people, communication is to a marriage like blood is to the body. Blood stops flowing, you die. Communication stops flowing, you die. So watch this. So when we were able to be out and about in a couple, you can almost get a sense with barely communicating at home and trying to figure out stuff and carry the burden, whether you at work or social stuff or whatever. But now this becomes the first time, like in the home, where now stuff seems like it's so tense. You don't have another place for that outlet. You have to communicate now and truly share that burden with the person that you're married with. You got to open it up totally like never before. Like, just let them know, like, look, the reason why we in debt is every time I go out socially, I'm buying meat and everybody drinks. Like, whatever it is, both of y'all know something's going on. But when you could mask it with all the outer stuff, you didn't really have much of a conversation. And if you did, it wasn't productive. It was an argument. But now that you're sitting there and you don't have that, we're going to talk about why this, or we're going to talk about why, whatever the case may be. So communication, the reevaluation, being honest about how you feel in totality. So whatever it is, I don't like you. I never liked when you did this. And what I'm telling you all is the type of conversation we had to have to say, look, I never liked it when this happened, and I don't like this, and I don't want to go forward any longer if it's going to be like this. And you're not saying it to be hurtful, but since you ain't got to mask it anywhere, you might as well tell the person that you stuck in the house with how you feel, so they can figure out, well, I didn't know I was like that, or you were like that. So be totally and 100% honest about how you feel. And I'm gonna take it a step further, because you all can go into this. This leads into, now, if you're being open and honest and putting it out there, now you can begin to plan about where do we want to go? Do we still have a plan, and do we still have a vision for our family? Because I'm gonna tell you what, the moment you start stop having a vision of you and your spouse, it's over. And I'm gonna use this just to help it make sense. I remember years ago, I think I was in elementary school, I was running like some long distance race. So, when I started running, I could see the finish line. I had asthma. And so as I was coming around the last lap, I could feel my asthma kicking in, and I started wheezing, and I caught a Charlie horse at the same time. And the person I was trying to beat was running beside me. Now, because I had a lot of asthma attacks, I wanted to stop, and the Charlie horse hurt. But because I kept looking at the finish line, I was just like, now I didn't care if I won, but I was just like, no, I'm gonna make it through the finish line, and I'll just get my inhaler and stuff. So think about what I said. No matter how bad I hurt or how crazy it was, because I saw the finish line, I was willing to just keep going. And I think many times couples stop having a vision for their marriage. So for us, when we went through our trial, we were totally honest, but it was still like, this is what our empty nester home gonna look like. That says that we have a future. And then this is most recently, this is the job you're going to have. This is the job I'm going to have. Well, how are we going to be able to do it? Well, let's take care of this and take care of that. And we may have an argument tomorrow, but as long as we have a vision for our future, we good. We good.
Wow. That's powerful. And I think one of the things that I tell couples in premarital counseling, and one of the things, exercise I have them do, the homework, is to go home and write out your mission statement. I always tell people that a mission statement is what you exist to do, So be able to come up with a mission statement for you and your spouse and your family. And if you're clear about what the mission is, then we don't do anything outside of the mission. I know one of the reasons we always talk about all the time, one of the reasons we got together was because we had a vision of what family looked like. We were both family oriented. We grew up with family, large families, and we were always with them and together. We wanted to ensure that was the case for our children. And so that was one of the things that went into our mission statement. We're trying to ensure that they have a good sense of family. And then beyond that, we had some goals and things that we wanted to accomplish and see, and we didn't want to do it by ourselves. Right. We didn't want to do it by ourselves. And so we were committed to ensuring that, one of our mentor, couples, they stay, with two of them, I would say, one couple, shout them out. They married us, the Watsons, Reverend Herb Watson and Rochelle Watson, they always said, leaving is not an option. I've heard that again with a colleague and her husband, Pastor Tawana Prelo and her husband, Teddy Prelo, Teddy the tax man, they always would say divorce is not an option. And so there was a clear vision in sight, and they did whatever they had to do to ensure that at the end of the day, they were well on their way, as long as they both had breath in their body, to ensuring the vision.
Yeah. So before Jason goes to any of the questions, I want to just challenge everybody that's watching to go ahead and try to come up with a mission statement for you and your spouse if you don't already have one. Maybe if the weekend is free, you guys can, come up with something and write something down. And like Pastor Ian said, making sure that the vision is clear. So myself, I would just like to challenge everybody, you and your spouse, to write a mission statement for your life.
Yeah. That's definitely important, babe. Definitely important. Let's take a question from the audience. One of the questions that's come in, it says, how do you restore communication when you have said hurtful things to your partner? How do you restore communication when you said hurtful things to your partner?
I think first you're going to have to start with, a sincere apology for them to even open up to want to listen to you and be really sincere. And maybe even, there's no excuse for why you hurt them, but maybe explain where that came from. Usually you're trying to hurt them because you're hurting. So if you could explain to them the reason why you said these things, even though it's not going to, nullify the fact that you said that, then they'll be more open to listen to you as far as communication.
Yeah, and part of the restoration is the person who was offended. They play a part in the restoration. So Jesus is offended at Peter, obviously, for denying, but he's still like, Peter, do you love me? Peter, do you love me? So part of that restoration is on both sides. The apology of the person that maybe said the nasty stuff, whatever, but the person that's been offended, they need to be someone that's restorative and understanding and just realizes, what, this is why I would say it, so that the person that offended knows I'm forgiven, we're good, and we can go forward. So both sides gotta get it.
And it may not happen instantly. You may apologize and be sincere, and the person may still say, I don't want anything to do with you. I don't want to hear your mouth. Give them time, pray about it, but they'll, if they really understand, it's going to take them some time for them to say, what, and continue while you're waiting, continue to show them that you are sorry. Don't get an attitude because they're still mad at you, because that's not going to help anything. Continue to show them that you love them and that you are indeed sorry, and they'll see it and they'll come around.
Yeah.
Awesome. Right?
Okay. One of the things that I've heard a lot of folks talk about is making the best of time. Our regular routines have been broken in such a way that has allowed us to be more creative. I've been working a lot more. I've been designing a lot more. We've launched this talk show. What has been the Edwards big venture that has either grown by leaps and bounds in this season or is starting to take off?
I think most recently, we both, for some time, I wanted to start my own consulting company. And at the end of February, my company that I work for let me go. So, and then shortly after that, the whole COVID thing, broke out. So I've not been at work since then. And like I said, for a while, I've always wanted to have my own consulting company. I am a human resources professional. So this is the opportune time to do that. So I started, researching and planning and writing my mission and my vision. And while I was doing it, my husband, Ian, he started helping me. And as he was helping me with my mission and my vision statements and different aspects of the business, he started saying, he actually discovered, I actually have this business in me, like a business, for him to be like a business consultant. And he does like a fabulous job. I said, absolutely. I mean, the way that he helped me, get ready to launch my business, from that, he's learned that he has something inside of him as well to launch.
Yeah, so between her HR consulting firm and my business coaching firm and probably several books, I mean, I probably got like 4 book titles that are directly associated with COVID, along with a couple other ones that I had in me. But I think, for us realizing like who we are and what we've been doing all along, we want that to be our future. Like whatever we know we want our future to be together, but as far as like big projects, like you said, what's in us, I think we've realized like this is what we wanted to be, and we're willing to take the certifications or do whatever it takes to get there. So yeah, that's where we're at.
Yeah, that's big. I mean, I heard you talking about doing the certifications, taking the classes, doing the training. I did undergrad in communications and advertising and graphic design, and clearly, that was 15 years ago at this point. And so I've learned that I'm a little rusty on some stuff. So I find myself now online and, practicing the craft of design. And I see that coming in, with ways to help and support, my spouse, my partner, she's got a eye for design. And, we've been in the process of launching a clothing line, that'll be coming forth soon. And so, now design and looking at shirts by Bay tonight.
Oh, these are the bombs.
Hey, you're gonna be cranking out Gordon Gartrell's.
Yes. Old school. It's Gordon Gartrell.
Yeah.
And so, I think, I think one of the things is when you see your partner's giftedness coming to the forefront, call that thing out of them. When you see them operating in ways in which that's making them smile, and ways in which that's causing a lot of their talents, just shine, name it, celebrate it, put it on Front Street, sing about it, tap dance about it, let somebody know about it. Because if you don't sell yourself, nobody else will. And a shout out, to tonight, shout out to my publisher, Tiffany Bethea, and who's the founder of Kingdom Boss, and a way in which she's been pouring into me and pouring into folks in the area of coaching for a while, about allowing your God-given talents to be put to the forefront and essentially, utilizing them to help develop the family brand, if you will, creating generational wealth for your children and your children's children, because there's an idea inside of all of us. There's an idea inside of all of us. Let's take one more. Let's take one more, baby. Go ahead and take one more, and then we'll see what's gonna happen next before we close out our time.
Hey, Dr. J, if I can say this based on your last comment about support, one thing that's key, especially in the marriage, is you can't be a hater on your spouse. And you can't try to control. So if you're going to support, you're going to support for real. You're not looking at your spouse like competition, and you're not trying to control whatever it is that they do. you know, her businesses and what she does, you know, and I may suggest some stuff and give it, but I'll let her know my disclaimer, you know, you don't have to use it. I'm not trying to control it. No, she'll be like, but however I can support. And if she's doing great, she's making a lot, getting a lot of customers, the goal is, what can I do to help bring you some more business? Or, you know, I made a joke with her the other day. I was like, I'll do business development for you all and help bring y'all more customers. Why? Because it's her business, but it benefits us and it benefits, you know, the generations after us. So don't be a hater and don't be controlling. Support your spouse for real.
Lady Nick, make sure before we sign off, you give us the name of your consulting business. We want to drop it in the comments. And I'll just say this before we go to our last question for the night. If you guys, I know you say you home, if you guys got about another 5 or 7 minutes or whatever, we're going to jump over on IG Live. If you'll join us over there on IG Live for a few minutes, and we can collaborate together on IG Live and take some other questions. I know we've hit some from people on this Facebook platform, from people on this Zoom platform, but maybe some folks who are IGers. I consider myself to be one of the original Facebook crew. Babe is more of an IG person. My IG account, she used to run my IG account when it first started. She set it up and she was loading pictures on, because I ain't have a clue. I still gotta say, how do I do this? But after we deal with our last question on here, you can go ahead over to IG Live. Follow me. I'm Cool Waters 714. Dr. Ian, what's your IG?
Dr. Ian _Edwards.
Dr. Ian _Edwards, and you can follow us on IG. We'll be on there for about 5, no more than 5 or 7 minutes. We'll take a few questions from the folks over on IG and allow them to share in with this. This is kind of sort of been a platform dominated by the Facebook crowd, and we want to show some love over there. But babe, go ahead and shoot our last question off for the Edwards before we close our time out.
Okay. So we love to travel. In fact, we had big travel plans for us and the kids with our other family. Lady Nicola, we know that you are from England and you're used to visiting home. What, if any, travel plans are you most looking forward to after everything has calmed down? So what's the most, what are you looking forward to traveling when you go back home?
Yeah, once the stay-at-home order has been lifted and you feel comfortable traveling again, what's y'all's first destination? Where y'all headed?
Yeah, well, we were hoping in August, when we celebrate 20 years, we had a plan to go to Jamaica to renew our vows. So that does not look, I doubt we'll be able to do that. We're gonna have to probably reschedule that for next year. We're gonna see it, but next month we'll make a decision. But I think, depending on when this is lifted, I mean, I definitely need to get to England before the year is out. That's a definite. But I think even if we can't go to Jamaica for our wedding anniversary, maybe later in the year, if everything is good, maybe we'd go there. What do you think?
We're gonna go somewhere.
We're gonna go
I mean,
somewhere.
that's just how we are.
Yeah.
We're gonna go somewhere. So we got credits.
And we had a lot. I had a lot of trips planned from this point on, and all on.
We were going to the 2020 Olympics in Japan.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were supposed to be in Italy for our wedding anniversary in October. So right now we on passport, no stamp. Hashtag passport, no stamp. It better safe than sorry. I mean, better safe than sorry. So look, we definitely have to do this again. I'm looking at the comments on Facebook. People are saying this was awesome. This is amazing. Somebody even asked, can we do this again next week and stuff? But we definitely will have Dr. Ian and Lady Nick come back on. I definitely will make sure that Lady Ron is back with me again. You know, I'm better because of her, and so I thank God for her. I know, Dr. Ian, you say the same thing. I'm seeing some comments here. Some folks saying thank you for your authentic conversation. They can really see the love shining through. That's definitely seeing the love shine through. I think I met Dr. Ian, the love doctor, if you will. I met him at a conference. Oh, sex now. It's almost that time.
Yeah.
But I think I met you at a conference, and I was just so inspired. You were talking to couples, and it was so powerful, you know, and I think it was at a time in my life where, you know, I was single, and, you know, just you gave me hope in that to love again. And I'm so glad that love again was with Lady Ron, and we were able to begin living out our family mission statement and our collective mission statement as a couple together. So I want to thank you. I truly see where your inspiration comes from with Lady Nick, and we wish God's blessings upon you, your family, your ministry, you know, moving forward. And we definitely will have you guys come back. If you are out there and you want to continue the conversation with us for just a few more minutes, we're going to jump on IG in a few minutes, and we're going to share screen and be in conversation with one another. If you didn't get your question answered here and you want to still ask it, come on over, follow us, follow me, Coolwater 714, follow Dr. Ian and Dr. Ian _Edwards on IG. We want to thank the Edwards for being with us. Next week, Straight Talk with No Chaser. Straight Talk, No Chaser with Dr. JJG. Next week, we want to invite you to join us right back here at 7 p.m. for an amazing time. We are going to be talking to our educators, those that have been on the front lines of trying to ensure that our children are not missing out on the knowledge and information that they need in the midst of COVID-19. And so we're going to have some administrators from several of the surrounding school systems in the DMV, Baltimore City, Prince George's County, DC, Anne Arundel County. So make sure that you tune back into Straight Talk No Chaser with Dr. JJG for next week. And education will be our focus and our spotlight. We want to thank y'all for being with us. Y'all stay blessed and y'all take care. Peace.
Peace, y'all.
Peace.
IG, we hitting IG?
Hitting IG. Get ready to log on now for just a few minutes for the folks.
Okay.